What is your favorite Agnon story or book, and why?
Oh, well, that's a tricky question. I tend to favor his novellas, his kind of longer short stories. I think that's the format where he's able to be most Agnonian, meaning able to be most intertextually engaged and to maintain the this work of dialogue with the classical sources most successfully. In a longer novel, it's hard to keep that up. And in a shorter story, and he has some very microscopically short stories, one page. In some of the shorter stories, you don't even notice it because it's too brief. So there's a number of these novellas that appear in different volumes in Hebrew, and in the English editions. The English editions don't necessarily map on to the Hebrew editions. Stories are rearranged and grouped together differently in the English editions. In English, we have a volume called Two Scholars Who Were in Our Town and Other Novellas. It's a collection of four novellas. And I think the four there are very, very representative of some of his best work. It includes, besides the title story, it includes the story Tehila, which I had mentioned earlier, which is clearly his most, let's say, beloved story. It's the story that over the decades, the reading public has maintained the greatest affection for. That might be because it remains eternally on the Bagrut exam, on the matriculation examinations in high school. So unfortunately, for many people, it's one of the only stories that they've ever read. But in terms of the novels, the longer stories, he's got a novel called Sipur Pashut, in English called A Simple Story, which I often recommend to people as a starting point if you want to read something longer. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. There's stories that are more well known. There's stories that are less well known. There's stories that even in Hebrew are not widely known or often read or dealt with in the scholarly literature. But among the kind of classics, those are some of the ones that people come to again and again.